Hello and welcome to my project. This is a CLI gem that I created called Enix CLI gem. It has my name in it. And the project is a Battle.net scraper. Basically, I scrape the data off this website and I'm able to publish the news articles with their titles and descriptions so that every time that you run the project, it will update. So here's Battle.net. And the games that I have in my project at the moment would be World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, and StarCraft 2. Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, and Overwatch has kind of a different layout. I was going to do them, but actually, with most programs that I've heard about, uh, getting just a start is good enough to actually publish, and then in future like patches and stuff like that you can add later, and my project right now is actually set up perfectly for that. So without further ado, I'll show you my project. So here I have my gem. It is the Enix CLI gem, and in the bin folder is battle-net, which executes is my executable file, and it actually executes this line of code right here. It also acts as my environment so that all my classes can kind of read each other, and there won't be any trouble there. Um, so my Blizzard News CLI.new.call gets called whenever it's executed, and that would be this file right here. It's in my library, and I have my CLI.rb, my Blizzard underscore news.rb, and my scraper.rb. My CLI.rb, it has a class Blizzard News CLI, and it has a call method which was called in my execution, and it puts welcome to Blizzard News CLI, please choose a game. So when it does that, here I will go ahead and execute it. I changed the file property so it could be an executable, so it can be executed like this, and there it is. So that's it also calls self.class.list, which is self.list right here, and then it calls another class right here after it lists the games, type list for list or exit to exit program. It calls an input class, or an input method, sorry. And here's my input method, and input equals get stripped, so it gets the input from the user, and then I open with a case statement of input, and when won, it calls this method right here, the class Blizzard News war news list. So I will go ahead and do that. So World of Warcraft would be number 1. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and it's going to call this method. And so you can see from whenever I call the method, it comes up with World of Warcraft news. It has the name here, and then it has a description, a short description. So basically what happened here was it called Blizzard News right here, my class, and then it called this method. So when it called the method, it puts out World of Warcraft news, and then it scrapes data from this website here. So you see the top 6 luckiest places in Azeroth, and then you have a short description right here. And it also has a URL. If you were to click this, you can see it on the bottom left of my screen right now. I also scraped that as well. So basically what happens is my scraper, which is right here, the articles, I set a variable articles to Blizzard News scraper.scrape, and then it takes in a URL argument. So my Blizzard News scraper is right here, and there's my method for scrape. It takes in the URL, and then I use Nokogiri gem and OpenURI gem to set a equal to the URL. It opens and retrieves the HTML from there, so I'm able to iterate through a lot of the HTML. I used Pry to do that. And then I was able to narrow down my search with a div class with an ID of blog articles. And while I was iterating through it, I found that span with the class article title gave me my names. And with the text being the child of that CSS. So I had to gsub some weird print that they had on there. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you, but I just gsubbed it out to make the titles, the name of the titles, to be more clear as to what it is. And then I have an articles variable that has a array of nested hashes. So I iterated through them, and I made each one of these have the key of name and then the title. So I did the same thing over here with the description and the short description, except I had to some of them had this weird I don't know what that is, but it was supposed to be a hyphen after reading the code. So I gsubbed it out with that, and this one was supposed to be a space, so I gsubbed it out with that with some if-else statements. If it included it, then it gsubbed it and returned that. So that made it easier. And then the URL, I did the same thing. It was found within the article wrapper. That was the easiest way to gsub it out. The URL did not have usbattle.net, so I had to include that, and then that gave me my URL, and I also put that into a URL key. So that's how my scraper works. So whenever I call that, it gives me this array of nested hashes that has all my data in it, and it's collected real time, set to my articles variable. And then I use the articles variable in this method that I created to list the articles. So when you go right here, you can see that it iterates with an index, and it takes the index and adds 1 because the index starts at 0, so it starts at 1. It gives the article name and the article description, and then it calls the class OpenURL with the articles also in it, which gives this what we're seeing right here, type 1 through 11 to open article in browser, list for list of games, or exit to exit program. So right now I don't have it to where you can actually open the article, but if you hit 1 for the first news article, it will have a link to where you can just paste it into your browser. So eventually, like maybe with a later update, I can fix that. So if I type list, it actually takes me back to the CLI right here for the self.list, and if I type exit, it says goodbye. And that is my project in a nutshell. Thank you for watching, and you all have a great day.